The Caitlin Clark takeover continues as Forbes lists Caitlin Clark as the highest earner in the WNBA for the 2025 year. The girl only played in 13 games, y'all. The takeover, it is official. Caitlin Clark taking this thing over. We got to get into this. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. Here we have on Twitter, Athlete Vanity, the world
WNBA doesn't cover my bills. With that blunt statement, Angel Reese delivered a moment of rare honesty that immediately caught public attention. Her words weren't meant to shock for effect. They reflected a financial reality that many fans rarely see behind the spotlight. Despite being one of the league's most recognizable figures, Reese is earning roughly $74,000 this season, a figure that surprises many who assume professional athletes are financially secure by default. Her comments pulled back the curtain on a difficult truth within women's professional basketball. For a significant number of players, league salaries alone fall short of covering everyday living costs, especially in major cities. The prestige of playing at the highest level doesn't always align with financial stability, even for stars who dominate headlines and highlight reels. What makes this revelation especially striking is its timing. It arrives during an era when athlete branding, endorsements, and social media influence are generating unprecedented wealth, just not evenly. Reese's remarks force a broader conversation about compensation, value, and visibility, drawing attention to the growing gap between on-court excellence and actual earnings in women's professional sports.
And that's cool. Angel Reese and Paige Beckers. Now let's go over to Forbes. Let's go over to Forbes and get to the list and things. Let's get to that. The world's highest paid female athletes 2025. This is on Forbes. Here it says, with women's sports on a financial break, the top 20 earners hauled in a combined $293 million this year, up 13% from 2024, and further gains look like a slam dunk.
Reese's remarks land with even greater impact when viewed alongside newly released data from Forbes, which has just published its 2025 ranking of the world's highest-paid female athletes. The list adds crucial perspective to the debate, revealing a striking contradiction within women's basketball today. While many WNBA salaries remain modest, one standout figure is completely rewriting the financial narrative of the sport. Despite appearing in only a limited portion of the season, this athlete isn't merely included on the list. She leads the WNBA category by a wide margin. Her earnings dwarf traditional contract numbers, driven largely by endorsement deals, branding power, and cultural influence far beyond the court. The message is clear: visibility and marketability now carry financial weight that league pay alone cannot match. This rise underscores a growing divide within the league. For most players, financial strain remains a reality, but for a select few, a new model of success is emerging. It signals a shift in how professional value is defined in women's basketball, pointing toward an era where off-court influence may determine long-term financial security more than minutes played or points scored.
In here too, man. We got to get to this list. Coco Golf, this is for heavy hitters. This is for the heavy hitters right here. Okay. It says the gender pay gap is less severe in individual sports than in team sports, but it is still not a level playing field. For example, so the people like at the top of this list, you're gonna see a lot of tennis players, people that do individual sports with no teams. Obviously, if you're in the WNBA, majority of, and you made this list, majority 95, actually more like 99% of your income.
The moment has arrived, and there's no mistaking its significance. Caitlin Clark now sits at the top of the WNBA earnings list for 2025, bringing in a staggering $1 million, a figure that reshapes how success is measured in the league. This milestone isn't merely a personal achievement, it represents a broader financial awakening for women's basketball and its market potential. What makes this even more striking is the context. Clark reached this level after appearing in just 13 regular season games for the Indiana Fever, a detail that underscores how influence can eclipse minutes played. Her earning power reflects visibility, fan engagement, and cultural relevance, not just time on the court. These numbers tell a clear story. The league has entered an era where star power and individual impact can outperform traditional salary models. It's a defining shift in athlete economics, one that forces teams, sponsors, and executives to rethink how value is calculated in modern professional sport.
They stand to make more, which is why you get to the list and boom, you got Coco Gauff at 33 million. Coco Gauff is amazing, by the way. And then we scroll down here. Look at all these people. Look at all of the tennis, the top 3 earners, tennis, individual sport, freestyle skiing, Eileen Gu. Then you got tennis, golf, tennis. And then you finally get to a team sport of basketball. And here lies
Clark's reported $12.1 million haul doesn't just lead the WNBA, it reportedly lands her around number 11 on Forbes' global ranking of the highest paid female athletes, spanning every major sport worldwide. That placement is extraordinary, especially given that the list has long been dominated by individual sports like tennis and golf, where endorsement structures and prize money have historically favored women more evenly. What sets this apart is how decisively Clark has broken through those traditional barriers. Her influence off the court has propelled her beyond many long-established international stars, proving that marketability today is driven by visibility, connection, and cultural relevance as much as trophies or titles. She isn't just competing within basketball's ecosystem, she's reshaping how female athletes are valued across the global sports economy. Her inclusion among this elite group signals something much bigger than personal success. It highlights a turning point for women's professional sports, where mainstream attention, brand power, and audience engagement are finally translating into financial recognition at the highest levels. Clark isn't just entering new territory, she's actively redrawing the map.
she made 5 on the tennis court, 7 off. You see what I'm saying? They're making money on and off, and it's not. See, she made 8.5 on and just 4 off. If Caitlin Clark was getting paid the way she should in the WNBA, she'd be at the top of this list. Because she should. I mean, Caitlin Clark deserves NBA. Caitlin Clark deserves Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City Supermax contract money. That she deserves the Jaylen Brown $300 million basketball contract. That is what Caitlin Clark means to women's basketball, to
According to the Forbes analysis, women's sports are in the middle of a clear financial surge, and the numbers leave little room for doubt. The top 20 highest-earning female athletes reportedly generated a combined $209.3 million this year alone, marking a 13% jump from 2024, with projections pointing even higher in the near future. The growth is no longer speculative, it's measurable, sustained, and accelerating. This sharp rise signals a rapidly expanding marketplace, but it also exposes a crucial reality for team-based leagues like the WNBA. For elite players, traditional salaries make up only a sliver of total earnings. Nearly 99% of top-tier income now comes from off-court opportunities, including endorsements, media deals, and brand partnerships. That imbalance tells a powerful story. Financial success at the highest level increasingly depends on personal branding, audience reach, and cultural relevance. A small group of standout athletes is capitalizing on that shift, turning visibility into leverage and popularity into long-term financial power, reshaping what it means to truly make it in modern professional sports.
She deserves the Jaylen Brown $300 million basketball contract. That is what Caitlin Clark means to women's basketball, to WNBA, and basketball itself. I think Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in the sport at this point, not named LeBron James, who's on his way out. I think Caitlin Clark's the biggest star in basketball. Well, Steph Curry too, but they on their way out. Outside of them two, CeCe's bigger than anybody in the NBA. Here it says, Clark missed 31 of the Indiana Fever's 44 regular season games this year, as well as their 8 playoff contests, but the 23-year-old superstar.
Financial breakdown behind Clark's rise is as eye-opening as it is telling. Her WNBA salary accounts for roughly $100,000, while an overwhelming $12 million comes from ventures beyond the court. That imbalance isn't accidental, it's a direct reflection of how modern athletes now generate value in an attention-driven economy. This contrast highlights the explosive power of personal branding, particularly for young players who haven't yet reached the upper tiers of league pay. For rookies, endorsements, sponsorships, and media visibility can far outpace what a standard contract offers. Clark's earnings make it clear that star power no longer waits for veteran status or long-term deals. In many traditional sports models, performance on the field dictates income. Here, that formula is flipped. Clark's case captures a new financial reality, where influence, audience connection, and market appeal drive.
One of the Indiana Fever's 44 regular season games this year, as well as their 8 playoff contests, but the 23-year-old superstar recently got on the floor with Team USA, and she is once again feeling 100%. She said last month while playing at the Annika, a golf pro-am, the event clearly demonstrated the influence of Clark, who sold more jerseys on Fanatics last fall than any other pro basketball player not named Steph Curry. That tells you how lit it is. That tells you it's a movie when Caitlyn pop out. It's a real movie, okay?
To place Clark's earnings next to elite tennis figures, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Take Coco Gauff, who leads the Forbes rankings with roughly $33 million in total earnings. A meaningful portion of that income comes directly from tournament prize money, reinforced by a strong but secondary stream of endorsements. The same pattern appears across other individual sports, including skiing and golf, where athletes typically earn substantial sums both through competition and sponsorships. Their financial models are more balanced, allowing on-field or on-course success to carry real economic weight alongside brand partnerships. For WNBA players, the equation looks very different.
Has become one of the faces of the WNBA, launching a signature shoe with Reebok, walking the runway in Victoria's Secret fashion show, making a cameo appearance in Netflix disaster thriller A House of Dynamite, and appearing on the cover of some editions of video game NBA 2K26. She has one clear motivation: to stay busy. The WNBA don't pay my bills at all. Reese, who had a salary of $74,000 this year with the Chicago Sky, said on Instagram Live in October 2024, "I don't even think it pays one of my bills, literally." But that's bad money management, you know what I'm saying? But hey, Paige Becker's coming in at $9.1 million.
Imagine a version of the WNBA where Caitlyn Clark is paid in direct proportion to her influence, visibility, and economic impact. Analysts have openly suggested that if compensation truly reflected market value, her salary would resemble an NBA-style Supermax deal, numbers that can reach into the $300 million range over time. Under that structure, Clark wouldn't merely rank near the top of Forbes' global list, she would likely dominate it. This argument captures a growing belief that the league's pay model has not yet caught up to the commercial force created by its most recognizable stars, leaving substantial revenue unrealized and a widening pay gap that continues to frustrate fans and players alike. Some commentators have gone even further, labeling Clark the biggest star in basketball today outside of names like LeBron James and Stephen Curry. That's a bold claim, but it reflects a real shift in how basketball celebrity is measured. Her appeal crosses demographics and audiences, drawing in viewers who may never have followed women's basketball before. That kind of reach places her in rare company, a crossover figure whose presence alone expands the sport's cultural footprint and challenges long-standing assumptions about who drives ratings, merchandise sales, and fan engagement. Even extended time away from the court has done little to slow her momentum. Despite missing a large portion of the Indiana Fever's regular season and every playoff game, Clark's visibility never dipped. Her selection to Team USA reinforced her elite status, and her return only intensified public interest. The gap in playing time proved something critical. Her earning power and influence are not tied strictly to minutes logged, but to relevance, recognition, and sustained public demand. Evidence of that influence is hard to miss. Last fall, Clark reportedly sold more jerseys through Fanatics than every professional basketball player except Stephen Curry. That accomplishment places her ahead of countless NBA veterans and emerging stars, signaling a level of consumer engagement that is unprecedented for the WNBA. Her upcoming Nike signature shoe is expected to perform at similar levels, reinforcing what brands already understand: Clark isn't just an athlete, she's a high-impact commercial engine. Her reach even extends beyond basketball entirely. During an appearance at a professional golf event, broadcast partners expanded coverage specifically to feature her, including live streams